Coming up next, how to win the in-person and virtual interview. And then, why are millions still unemployed when companies want to hire? Plus, we take your calls, and it all starts right now. All right, here we go. Coming to you live from Ramsey Solutions Studios in Nashville. You have joined a conversation about you, specifically who you are, your uniqueness, what you do best, the work you love to do, and the results you want to create. And then we're going to talk about what you were created to do, the work itself, the contribution you were created to make. And then where you can do that, because there's multiple places. That's the exciting thing. It's not just one silver bullet. Oh, do I make the right decision? Multiple things you can do to make that unique contribution that you were created to make. And then finally, how do you get there? That's what we're discussing. There are 7 stages to work you love, meaningful work, doing what you were created to do. Get clear, get qualified, get connected, get started, get promoted, get the dream job, give yourself away. We'll walk you through those stages. We'll identify what stage you're in and how you get to the next stage. And so for those of you who have no idea, you're in the right place. For those of you who have the right idea, you feel you got the idea, you know what you're supposed to do, you're not quite sure how to get there, you're in the right place. And some of you know both of those things. You know what you're supposed to do, you know how to get there, but something's holding you back. Financial situation, relationship situation, some fear, some doubt, some pride. I've been there. And so we'll help you get set, reset, and get going. 844-747-2577 is the phone number. You can jump in on the chat room if you're watching live just after 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And if you're watching later, thank you for watching later. Subscribe while you watch. You can jump in the chat room. Got a great live audience that likes to engage in the chat room. Every once in a while, I'll jump in there. And if you've not subscribed, please do give us a thumbs up on the show and share the show as well. All right, how to prepare for the virtual interview and the in-person interview. It's largely the same preparation. And so I want to walk through this. This is an article that I wrote. It's only a 7-minute read. I'm going to hit the high points. I'm going to walk through this really quickly because you can get the article at RamseySolutions.com. Just search how to prepare for an interview. All right, number 1, study the job description. A lot of people will look at a job description early on and then kind of leave it. But I work with a lot of companies. I can tell you that a lot of companies are very intentional on job description. And so there are lots of clues as to the type of questions you might get asked, the type of things that they're looking for in you. And so really study the job description. 2, find out more about the company. Who is the company? Not their name. You know that. You could probably give a 30-second description on what they do, but I want you to be able to, if you had to, talk about it for 10 minutes. Find out who the company is, what they do, why they do it, where they got started, what's happening. Number 3, ask about the interview format. Today, it could be an in-person, it could be over the phone, it could be a Skype or a Zoom video interview. So ask about it. Be really clear on what that looks like. Try to find connections. Now, hopefully, before you've ever actually applied, you've used my proximity principle, which says in order to do what you want to do, you got to be around people that are doing it and in places where it's happening, and you made some connections. But even if you haven't, afterwards, you've applied and you find a connection, don't stop looking. Let them know, hey, I'm coming in for an interview. I'm doing a phone interview. Hopefully they'll put in a good word for you. Use their product or service. To the extent that you can, it's really important to have an experience with the product or service for the company that you are interviewing for. Practice answering interview questions. We've got a great How to Win the Interview guide at kencoleman.com. Decide what to wear. Don't make this a last-minute decision. By the way, this is if you're doing it from home via video or you're going to be in person. Get ahead of this and go, hey, what do I want to look like? How do I want to dress? What is the company? How do they dress? What's the story? If you're going in person, make sure to take a copy or 2 of your resume just in case they ask for it. A lot of hiring managers aren't prepared as you think they are. And then think through the logistics. If it's an in-person interview, if it's a virtual interview, logistics, that's lighting, sound, camera, the whole 9 yards there. If it's in person, hey, what are the multiple routes? If traffic is bad on one route, what's the next best route? Think through it. What time do I want to get there? Do I want to have some bottled water with me? Think through all that stuff. Why? because we know from research, and I think we all know just from a common sense standpoint, that the job interview for most of us is one of the most anxiety-ridden behaviors, appointments. I mean, it's just, besides a doctor's office or something like that, performing in an interview is about as fear-inducing as it gets for most people. So you want to be prepared so that you can perform. 844-747-2577. 844-747-2577. Let's get it started with Sarah in Rancho Cucamonga, California. I've been there before. That's how I know how to say that, Amanda. Sarah, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Sarah. Did you like that pronunciation? Did it meet your standard?
I did. It was perfect. Most people get that wrong, so good job.
Yeah, well, I have the benefit of having been there once before, so I had to really get that one right. But it's a beautiful area.
Oh.
Sarah, how can I help?
So it's kind of a two-part question, finance and career. I'm almost certain I know what I want to do, but that requires 6 years of schooling.
Tell me what this is.
I have an opportunity to kind of, I want to be a midwife, so deliver babies, go to midwifery school.
Okay, great.
But that entails 2 years of my prereqs, 2 years of a nursing program, and anywhere between a 2 to 4 year program, depending on the school that I choose for my midwifery degree.
Mm-hmm.
So that just sounds like a lot of time and energy if I'm not for sure, but it sounds like something I want to do. So I have an opportunity to kind of try before I buy.
Good.
It'll cost upwards of $1,000 for a week-long certificate.
I like this.
Would this be a good idea?
Yeah, it's a great idea.
When saying like work your connections or proximity principle?
Yeah, what I would do is it sounds like a terrific idea, but I would just take the extra step of talking to some people, if it's possible, on the phone or in person, video, somebody who's gone through this $1,000 course. It'd be really great. I think you've probably already talked to the people that offer it, so you got a good idea of what it's going to be, what it's going to look like, feel like. That's important too. But it'd be really great if you talked to or read some reviews from people who've come through it just before we spend $1,000. But $1,000 is way less than the other option, and I think it's super important to cement the fact that you do in fact want to do this. My question is, let's say you spend $1,000 and you come through this with this certification. What kind of work in the midwife space can you do with that alone? Any?
Yeah, so the certificate is actually to become a doula. So I would be still helping deliver babies. I would still be in that proximity with pregnancy and women before, during labor, and then after.
And presumably doing this with a midwife.
Yes, I'd be doing it with a midwife. I can also be doing it. I live very close to LA, and at-home births are huge out here.
Yeah, for sure.
So I could do at-home births and have a midwife on call, so to say. So they wouldn't actually be there with me, but I would be working under a certain midwife.
I love this move. Love this move.
Okay.
How much money can you make being what did you call it?
A doula.
Spell that for me.
So, D-O-U-L-A.
Doula. Okay, great. I love this. How much money can you make as a doula?
So start out, it's usually about $1,000 a pregnancy, and that takes up about 6 to 8 weeks because you usually start towards the end of your second trimester, and then you just go to like lactation, which is like right after the baby's born.
Okay, hold on a second. Hold on. I just got to make sure I understand this. You're gonna get paid $1,000 for 6 to 8 weeks of work. Did I misunderstand?
It's not an everyday thing, and that's when you first start. So you have to get your name out there. It's more of like an on-call. Hey, I'm having Braxton Hicks.
Oh, good.
Hey, is this a good baby book?
Good. And
so those type of things.
So would you have another job, or do you need another job while you're doing that?
I do currently have another job. I actually work at a hospital I'm a lab technician.
Okay. Well, you started off the call by saying this was I like it. But you said you had a money question too, so I don't want to run over your question here, but I do like this to get in because I think this is going to get you really great experience and great connections. and allow you to save up the money for all this other schooling? Because it seems like there's no way around this, right? You got to have the 6 years.
Yes, there's no way around a minimum of 6 years.
Can you do it as you go, or does it have to all be done in one shot?
I can do it in 3 stages. If I'm going to separate it, it'll just take a lot longer. So it's like the prereqs. I have to have my nursing program done first, and then midwifery is a specialty in nursing.
Got you. What has to be true financially for you to do this in one shot to get it done as soon as possible, which is the minimum of 6 years?
My husband and I are finishing baby step 2 right now.
Good. How
so
much?
That
how much you have left?
I'm sorry, how much? So we have, I'm trying to look at my board. We are in a funky house situation. So we have the good faith money sitting, so that could pay off my car, but I need the house to finalize before we can do it.
Got it.
So about $22,000 once my car is paid off.
Okay, so you guys are close.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, if you can save up the money, how much money are you going to need to get after this thing full time?
5, 10. It's about 20,000.
Well, I don't think
for the
that's
first 2 years it's 5. Second 2 years it's 5.
I don't think that's much for you guys. I mean, based on what you've done and paying this debt off, I want you to keep walking the baby steps and get that 3 to 6 months emergency fund funded next, because that's going to be huge. You talk about you and your hub sleeping well, and I know it's going to push the timeline out a little bit, but I would get the emergency fund funded first, and then I would start cash flowing the school.
Now, when we cash flow the school, are we going to treat it like if we're back in baby step 2, going, okay, now we have another bill to pay, knowing, hey, next semester is going to be, I don't know, $2,000?
No, I'd prefer that you save it up. So you've only got to come up with another 20. So it's like once we get the emergency, it's like coming up with another emergency fund. I know that seems exhausting.
Oh, okay.
But that's what I mean by cash flow. I should have stipulated cash flow. Yeah, I see what you mean going month to month, but I don't want to put you in that situation. Now, unless you got your budget where it needs to be and you can truly cash flow it and there's really no concern, and if something goes wrong, you have the discipline to go, okay, I have to press pause. So, yeah, I'm fine with cash flowing month to month as long as it's in your budget and it's not a stretch. But there's part of me that at least goes, let's at least save up the first 5. Then maybe we cash flow, right? Because now we're further along. So it's like we're selling it's like it's a little bit more gazelle intensity to get the first 5, and then maybe the next 5 while you're going there. Whatever you got. It depends on your work schedule and how intense the schooling's going to be. It's as to whether or not you can continue to work full time. Can you do that?
Technically, I don't work full time right now.
Okay.
I mean, I'm at work right now. I clocked in at 3:30 in the morning. So.
Oh, I got you. Well, so my point is, your money. And so I just want you to get out of debt, and I want you to get your emergency fund in place before you tackle school. And then if you can cash flow go ahead.
Even though we're still in debt, this $1,000 isn't going to be a technical waste.
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. Do you think it is? Is there something I don't know?
I don't think so. No, I'm one of those people that I get my head set on something and I go until I hit a wall, and then I'm like, maybe I'll try something else. So that's why I'm super nervous about any big move. But I've also been thinking about being a midwife since I was in high school.
Yeah, so here's the deal. I remember I told you to try to talk to somebody who's gone through this training and see if you think it's worth it after talking to them. That's the last piece. Before I would say green light, I would say talk to somebody or two who's gone through the training, and you decide, is it worth it? I trust you. And you should trust you. Do your homework. Is this training that gets you this certification, is it worth $1,000? On the surface, it sounds like it is, but I'd like to talk to somebody. I wish I could get 2 people on the phone right now, and I ask them my classic, Ken Coleman curiosity questions, like I'm a complete idiot on this issue, because I am, and we figure out, is this the right move for Sarah? And so once you figure that out, if it's the right move, do it. I think it's huge for you. You talk about keeping you in the game. The reason I like it on the surface is because it allows you to do the work you want to do on some level. Is it fully? No. But it's in the area. You talk about proximity principle, and you're around babies and midwives, and you're learning from them, all while getting qualified to do it. It's the passion. It's the juice. While you're getting qualified for a 6-year process to be able to do it some, you talk about keeping you in the game, Sarah. That's why I think it's a no-brainer. But go talk to somebody.
Okay.
Yeah, you got this. Proud of you. 844-747-2577 is the number. Let's go to Rapid City, South Dakota. Jennifer's there. Jennifer, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. I appreciate your time today.
You bet. What's going on?
Hi, I have a question. So how do I find my passion to create a career I love that doesn't involve sitting behind a desk all day?
Well, we're going to look at talent, what you do best. We're going to look for some clues there because talent, your hard skills and soft skills, are the tools you'll use. So if we're having a hard time figuring out the work, let's go get some clues on talent. Then we're going to look at stuff from your past, the type of work that you've wondered about, the type of work that you've done, a task, a role, a function that you get some juice, some energy when you just think about it, when you're in the middle of it. You get distracted and totally distracted into that. Like, it's like, oh man, it's not even distraction. It's like a hyper focus, if you will. And then finally, we look at missional results you want to create. You know, what are the results that really drive you? You go, if I'm creating this result in my work, there's a deep value connection to me. So before we walk through that, let's just see if you've ever wondered about something, Jennifer. Ever wondered about a type of work? What it would be like to do this? What is it?
Yeah, recently I was in a head-on collision 7 years ago, so that's why I don't want to sit behind a desk, and I can't. So I've been kind of reaching towards like a more physical job to keep my body in a better setting for me. So
okay. So what have you wondered about?
I've been wondering about like the post office, walking all day, because walking all day is really good for me. I just don't want to re-injure myself because most of the months of the year here are snowy and rainy and stuff like that. So I just don't want to like fall or something like that and re-injure myself.
Okay, good. But let's not eliminate something just because something bad could happen, right?
Right.
So let's talk about what you do best. I'm just curious. If I interviewed everybody that knows you, Jennifer, what would they say you do best? Hard skills, soft skills. What comes to mind? And I'm talking like the stuff that they would brag about, the stuff that comes easy to you. You know that you're just good at this. What are we talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. So I can read a room. I can read people. Like, I know what people want before they even say it.
Mm-hmm. I call that
my friend.
That's discernment.
Okay.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay, so my friends would say that I'm a very positive, upbeat person that would step in and help anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if it was like a trauma type of thing, I'd be able to step in and tell them like how to fix it.
Okay. All right.
And then also, I'm just really good with people. I'm just a very positive person.
Okay, good. All right. So I'm going to throw some words back at you. Okay. So I'm basically doing a little assessment live. Okay. So I'm going to give you one word descriptors that'll kind of think of them as a bucket of talent. All right. So you said you read people, read a room really well. I call that discernment. That's the talent of discernment. You said you're really great with people, so that means you've got the talent of communication. That's not just talking, that's also listening. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
I would also say you have the talent of connection. Like, you are a people person. You connect with people. You know how to connect with people. It's something you do effortlessly. Is that true?
Yep, absolutely.
All right. And that problem solving, are you solving people problems most of the time?
Yeah, most of the time people come to me for like mediation and stuff.
Yeah, so I'm going to say that's also the talent of logic. Because it's not just discerning what's going on. You logically go, here's the path forward. Here's how we simplify complexity. Is that a true statement about you?
Yes, absolutely.
Gosh, how did I know that? It's a fascinating discovery, isn't it? No, No, it's not. I'm not that smart. It's that you just described it. You describe the kind of people problems. You come in and go, hey, we're going to figure this out. All right. So if we know that you are good at discernment and logic and communication and connection, what type of work Because we like to do things we're good at. Isn't that true, Jennifer?
Yes, absolutely.
So when you're doing people work, because I think people work is what you love more than other things, what kind of people work do you like to do? You already gave us some clues. Let's come up with some words for passion, work you love.
I do like to get up in front of a crowd. I do that at my church and talk to everybody. Like I can just get up there and talk to anybody, even if I know them or not.
Ooh, all right. So I'm going to write down teaching because that's a form of communicating, right? Like you're teaching something. If you're getting up and speaking, there's a form of instruction and guiding and evangelizing and teaching. True or false?
True.
All right, good. What else? What other kind of work with people do you love to do?
I like to guide people in the right direction.
Ooh, I'm going to write down advising or maybe counseling. Could be. Those are two different types of actual work, but does that sound like that hits a bullseye for you?
Yeah, counseling was something that I wanted to do. I was in college for psychology, and I'm a 4.0 student. I'm just out on break right now.
Oh, you didn't tell me that, Jennifer. You could have saved me some time.
So I apologize.
No, I'm having fun with you. All right, but let's get serious for a moment. I want your heart to answer this, not your head, which means no limitations, no money issues, no relationship issues, no qualification issues. Jennifer, what would you do tomorrow if I could wave my Ken Coleman Show pencil in the air and poof, put you in at work that you knew you could not fail at, but you didn't have to commit to it for the rest of your life? What would you try?
I would open up a center called On My Own for troubled kids that need guidance and a way to get to the next step.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Why?
Well, growing up, I didn't have the best life, and I had to learn the hard way about other stuff, and I've been through 17 different traumas, and I just have a way to help people and to get a message out, whether if it's a podcast or in a center. People listen to me, and they progress. Like when I was going to college, a bunch of my friends' kids, they started to go to college because they saw what I was doing.
Yep. There it is. So here, Jennifer, everything in our conversation changes from what to how. So we got to get you from the day job that you're in, okay? Mm-hmm. And we got to get you out from the desk because of the physical limitations, and it's sucking the soul out of you. And let's get you a different day job that has got you moving around. You need to make the same amount of money or more. Maybe you take on a second job. Well, we got to get you back into school to finish the counseling because you got to get this. This is a case where a degree has to happen. And so I don't care where we get it. Doesn't have to be in an expensive school. If you can save money by going to a different school or doing it online, you find the most inexpensive way to get the degree in counseling. Then you get licensed, and then I want you to get in the field. And so then you begin to get in the field. And I don't care if it's adults or kids. It doesn't matter. We got to get you in the field, and we got to get you making money. And then now we get in and we start doing what I did in broadcasting. I was doing any kind of broadcasting I could. I got some experience. I got better. And then I started looking for, where do I really want to broadcast? What do I want to broadcast? Well, you already know the what and the where.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so we get to a point where eventually, hopefully you're working for somebody else, or maybe you become a partner where you can start to really work with these kids that were you, the young Jennifers.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to a point where eventually you have your own practice. You have your own camp. By the way, you can launch a podcast, you can write, you can do all that on that journey that I just laid out, can't you?
Yes.
Jennifer, I'm so happy you called me today.
Thank you so much.
Hey, I want you to capture this right now. That's your why. See, I'm so angry and sad about what happened to you. But I will say this. That does not define you.
Yes, sir.
And it has made you strong and aware and empathetic and compassionate to other kids who unfortunately are going to go through a lot of the same dark crap, pain trauma that you've come out of. But it is because you are on the phone today, standing tall. Despite a couple creaks and cracks because of that stupid car accident, you're still standing tall. Mm-hmm. Spiritually, emotionally. There are kids out there that need you, Jennifer, because you're the only person they'll ever have in front of them. Right. You need a knee going, I know what that feels like. They'll trust you. They wouldn't trust me. They'll trust you. So, Jennifer, you have no choice in this matter. None.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm cheering you on. You got me?
Yes, sir.
You're amazing. So proud of you.
Thank you so much.
You bet. If your why doesn't make you cry, it's not your why. Now, I don't mean you got to be moved to tears like Jennifer was all the time, but if you were to soak in it and think about it and express extreme gratitude for what you get to do, the impact you get to make, it ought to move you emotionally. Yes, I stand by that. Your why should make you cry. And if it doesn't, it's either not your why or you've been so disconnected to it that you need to reconnect to it. Jennifer didn't ask for the pain that she experienced. I'm angry that it happened to her. I'm sad. But I also have some joy because I know that her pain has prepared her for her purpose. There's always purpose. Always. And we get to choose that. That's what this is about. Being who you're supposed to be. So proud of you, Jennifer. All right, quick break. When we come back, we got some Monday momentum. We've got some breaking news, if you will. Don't move. This is the Ken Coleman Show.
We were drawn to Christian healthcare ministries because we both had young families and we wanted to have more children. And we had also just started a real estate company and needed to find healthcare coverage that would meet our needs.
We were attracted to CHM because of its low monthly costs and the ability to negotiate medical costs down.
Established in 1981 and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, CHM is here to meet the needs of your growing family or small business. Check us out at chministries.org.
We absolutely believe in it.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Ken Coleman Show. So excited to have you with us. Love our YouTube audience because it's just coming from all around the globe and people stumbling on us. It's so exciting, and we've got the folks that are watching live who jump in on the feed here, and so I thought, well, let's jump in here real quick, Nathan. What do you say? You know, I mean, I know Trevor, the YouTube guru. A guru, not guru. How do you spell guru? Is that Guro? I might start calling you that, Trevor, just to be different, because I do like to be a little different. Well, let's just see what's going on in here. I got to skip the trial. You know how that always hits me on there. So, Jonathan has got a question here. Why don't we do one of these real quick? I had a company internal call with the hiring manager for a new position. It's been a couple of weeks since I heard back. Is it appropriate to send another follow-up email? You know, Jonathan, hi, Techtricity. While I was answering the question, Techtricity said hi. And see, the chat room, Trevor, for me is perfect. This is where my ADHD finds a very happy place to live. Hello, Emily. Hello, Michael. I'm Sean the Don. Hey, I'll get to the answer here in just a second. All right. So in this case, Jonathan, I don't want you to send an email because it's an internal call. So now I'm presuming here that you're in the same building. So if I'm wrong here, then sure, send another email. But I love the drop by. I want an in-person, hey, man, I happen to be on this floor. Well, you did. Your whole reason for being on the floor may be to run into their office, but you just happen to be on the floor. I'd go with that. And I'd look at him and go, hey, man, I got to tell you, I was excited to have the call. And by the way, really grateful. Thank you. Have you guys moved on? Is that something that's still an opportunity? Because, hey, I'm in no hurry. I just want you to know I'm enthused. I want to take the best shot that I possibly can for this. That's what I'd like to see you do, as opposed to an email. I don't like the email in this situation. Not when you can walk by, look somebody in the eye, and they can see a posture of enthusiasm and some humility. That's what I would do there. So there you go. All right. Much love to everybody there in the chat room. Joe, it's time for what we like to call Monday Momentum Updates. Michelle shared this in our Facebook group, the Ken Coleman Show, the official Ken Coleman Show Facebook group. By the way, a lot of men and women in that group just loving on each other and encouraging each other. It's so great. Michelle writes in, Ken, I'm so excited. The proximity principle is working for my son. He's been looking for a career for a while and getting frustrated. Recently, an acquaintance of his at church heard he was looking for a job. Notice, folks, this is at church. I'm not trying to get you all to go to church. I'm saying this is an area where it's a social center. Let's call it that. So your social center may be something else. But the amount of opportunities that lay in front of us sometimes unnoticed in these social centers where we're socializing and doing life, it's extraordinary. So his acquaintance, but rather not a friend, his acquaintance says, hey, give me your resume. And so he then passes the resume around at his company and to several associates outside of his company. One outside, catch this. This is an outside company, not even the dude's company. An outside company has hired him in a temp position doing code, giving him the desperately needed experience he needs while searching for the full-time coding job. Another contact got him an interview at a big tech company in Idaho. And on Monday, a gentleman called to tell him he was given his resume and has a data analyst position opening up. What? This is all from church? A part-time coding gig and then 2 other developer opportunities? What? All from church, Joe. The job listing in this last one, the data analyst position, was not even written up yet. But he told my son he would send him the job listing ID as soon as it was posted. What does it even mean if someone calls before there is a listing opening up? I'll tell you what it means, Michelle, that the proximity principle works if you keep working it. It is not a magic pill. I will never tell you how quick it will work because I don't know. But it works. Everyone says hiring at large companies is a slow process, but we have no idea how long that will be. Doesn't matter. You're in the process. Buckle up and hang on. I love that, Joe. 844-747-2577. All right, Nathan, it's time for these salient and relevant updates. We call it in the news. All right, here in my hands, a little printout from the Wall Street Journal. You're hearing more and more about this, and I'm going to keep beating this drum because it's coming out of the news, and it's going to catch up to some of you if you don't wake up. And I'm just going to lay it out there. New survey, Wall Street Journal. Why can't companies find workers? Oh, there's several reasons. These aren't in any order of people surveyed. It's just these are the main reasons. Number 1, people are still in fear of getting or spreading COVID. Well, if you think a mask works, wear a mask. Go to work. All right? The CDC, even though they change stuff every day, the reality is you can work safely. Number 2, because businesses in some states are reopening ahead of schools, and this is an educational bureaucrat problem, teacher union problem, the reality is some parents are stuck because businesses are opening, but schools aren't, and it's a childcare problem. This is wrong. If you're a government leader or bureaucrat or teachers union person, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. I don't care what school of thought you come from on COVID right now, to act as though you cannot return to work safely is a bunch of garbage. We are hurting families for those that can't go back to work because they have no child care option, can't afford it. And then this one, we've been talking about this one, many people are receiving more in unemployment benefits than they would in the jobs they have had before. So why don't you get qualified while you're receiving all these benefits and go get a better job? Because I'm telling you, I don't believe the Biden administration can keep unemployment benefits extended. I just don't. Maybe they will. We'll see. To me, that's not a bet that I would place. And then finally, there's a big group of people that don't have the skills needed for jobs that are available, or they're unwilling to switch to a new career, and that's straight up fear right there. Fear of the unknown. Fear of the process of getting qualified. We can help you. So if you're in that bucket, I'm not shaming you, but I'm telling you, this is a great time to get back to work. This is a great time to move up the ladder in your professional career. This is a great time to move towards that work you've always wanted to do. Let's get after it, shall we? The time is now. So there you go, straight from the Wall Street Journal. All right, it looks like my time is almost up. But before I let you go, I want you to know that you matter and you do have what it takes. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.